Hey guys, today I'm going to do a video that I'm really excited to do. It is going to be my favorite nude blushes. Favorite like nude, neutral type blushes. Those are my favorite blushes to wear because to me they go with any look. The ones I pick are usually leaning a little more on the warm side, so it definitely suits my skin tone. They're easy to wear. I just think they're really flattering. It's the colors I've always gravitated towards even when I first started getting into makeup. Then once I really got into makeup, I would start experimenting with some like more hot pinks and bright corals, and occasionally I still like those, but I've kind of gone back to my initial love of just like the nude neutral blushes. They're just my favorites. So in this video I'm mainly doing for one of you guys. She is one of my viewers that is always wanting Nars Madly. She doesn't live in the US, so her accessibility to Nars Madly isn't the same. So I tried to help her. I was thinking about some dupes, but I thought this might be a good idea, a video with a whole bunch of nudes and she could see how they all look and maybe that would help her out. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this. I have 8, like all the time, what is the word? Pregnancy brain. 8 permanent blushes, sorry, and 3 limited editions. I wanted to mention the limited editions in case y'all had them or you've ever been curious how they look compared to some of these, so I thought it would just be a good time to mention them. So let's get started with the best of all, the one that started the whole obsession and the reason I'm doing the video, and that's Nars Madly. And I'm going to try to refrain from doing too much description and adjectives because I feel like they're going to kind of be the same. It has some shimmer to it. It looks like the most nothing brown color in the pan, but on the cheeks it just kind of livens up, and to me it has a lot more color on the cheeks than it does in the pan. So I'm going to swatch all of these on my arm. I'm going to do kind of a heavy swatch so that you can see. So that is how Nars Madly looks. It is definitely a color that you could almost get away with not wearing a bronzer. Let me do it a little further on there because it does have a lot of warmth, and it really darkens up on the face. Some of these blushes I will mention that I do know some people do kind of use them as a bronzer. At least like I know 2 of them people mention they do. I don't really do that. I still use bronzer pretty much every day. And next up is the Dolce & Gabbana Caramel, which definitely has more of a, it's just a lot darker. It has more orange tan in it than Nars Madly, and it has no shimmer. But as you can see from the pans how much darker it is. There's the Caramel and there's Madly. When you see it on my arm, you'll see what I'm talking about, how Nars Madly definitely darkens up. So you can see how Madly really deepens up on the skin tone. And there's Caramel, which is matte. Next up is probably my newest of these blushes, and it is the Too Faced Love Flush and Baby Love. This has some sheen to it as well. And this one, I'm not even going to lie, the name is kind of what made me get it. Me and my husband have always called each other Baby Love, and so I thought it was cute. And the packaging is adorable. I can't get the right spot of my arm, because when you hold up your arm, it kind of twists and turns. Now this is like leaning more pink than the others. I always said it was more of like a peachy version, so I guess like more of a peachy pink nude. And it has some sheen, but not a lot. So you can definitely tell the difference in all of them. And I love all of these. Those 3 and this 4th one and 5th one. I mean, these are like my all-time favorites. Next up is a cult classic, and it's Tarte Exposed, which I've really been reaching for a lot lately. It's a little bit darker, a little more rosy, so I guess it kind of gives you that more wintry vibe. Not to say it's dark or too rosy by any means, but you can see like on my finger. And then there's the Tarte Exposed. So if I want something maybe with a little more pink or a little more darkerness, rosy kind of color, I like that one a lot. Not that I feel like it gives you too much of that, but it's really nice for giving you a little more than just like the kind of tan look. The next up is Burberry Earthy, which I know a lot of people do use as a contour, or they kind of use it as like a blush bronzer combo. And this is matte, and it is so pretty. I use it as a blush, and it's especially nice if you have a lot going on with your eyes or you have a major statement lip. And there is Earthy. MAC has a blush, I'll try to mention it down below, that a lot of people use to contour. What is it? I don't know. And I used to use that before I got Earthy to kind of like fill the void, you know, kind of like to satisfy me. And it is a really nice blush color as well. What is it? It's just not one I go for all the time. It's kind of like this same tone of Earthy. So, Earthy, Exposed, Baby Love, Caramel, and Madly. So, Earthy is definitely more tan, definitely more of a contour type color. I would say it's the coolest out of all of those. But they're all, you know, I mean, they're just, I love them all. Those are some of my favorites by far. Like, I love these colors. Okay. So I'm going to swatch on my next arm. Next up is a blush that I hadn't used in so long, and I probably hadn't even used it that much, but I always see people talking about it on YouTube, and it's MAC Warm Soul. It's one of the mineralized skin finishes, not skin finish, just blush. And people have started recently saying that they had reformulated it. I cannot speak to that, but this is the original packaging, so I don't have the new version if it is new. I guess I just kind of didn't pull this one out a lot because I thought it was so dark or orangey or glittery. I don't really know why, but ever since I've been wearing it a lot lately. I've had so many of you compliment me saying that I look extra glowy in my videos. So you can kind of see compared to Madly, it's almost like the orangier sister. But they're very similar. Madly has just a little bit more of a brown tint, where Warm Soul has a bit more of an orangey hint. They're both the top ones. But this one supposedly has been reformulated. So if you're looking for Madly and you don't have this version, I don't know how well it would help you. I do think Warm Soul is a lot more shimmery, however. The next up is a blush that I haven't given a lot of attention to, but recently I've started playing with it more, and it's Benefit Dallas. And this is another one of those blushes that I have heard people kind of use as a blush bronzer. They'll kind of use it and skip the place of bronzer. They may put it down like a little bit lower and bring it a little all over their face. This has some sheen to it as well. It is definitely a darker hint, but it has some pink to it as well. Let me compare it to Exposed in the pan. It's kind of hard to show you because the shadow of this box. It's more, I would say it's pushing more towards like a combination of Exposed and Earthy. So that is Benefit Dallas. Then another one, this is a more of a darker nude, and it's really pretty during the summer because it has more of a bit of a bronzy hint. But this is Laura Geller Pink Grapefruit, which the name is a little deceiving. I got it in a Birchbox sample, and it just didn't like, I don't know, I wasn't like, oh, I need to try that. And I probably would never have tried it had I not gotten it in my Birchbox. This one is extremely shimmery. Kind of like the MAC Warm Soul. But it has almost like the shimmery duochromeness of like a pink hint. That's totally being lost on translation. It's kind of like the pink version of Warm Soul, but it's still like that neutral nude look. But it definitely has a lot of sheen. It's one that you can get away with skipping highlight. Just like if I use Warm Soul, I don't use a highlight that day. So these are my favorite permanent nude neutral type blushes. For the most part, they all have some sheen. Yeah, I mean, but that's just, I like a little bit of that. Okay, let me swatch the limited edition ones now, just so you'll have a point of reference. Okay. One of these is pretty hyped that I'm sure you've heard about. The others, I don't know. So we'll start with the more hyped one, and that is Chanel Accent. I know that they came out with a fall blush, Alizane, and then another one, Golden Sun. And I know a lot of people were comparing them to Accent. I think those are the ones. And this one is definitely more on the cooler end. I would say it's kind of like a cool mauve. And that's that at the bottom. And it has some shimmer. It has, well, it's probably more pushing towards glitter. That and the pink grapefruit are definitely the shiniest of the two. Accent is almost like the same depth and tone of Burberry Earthy, but it's more glittery and it has a little bit more purple in it. So Earthy looks almost like a little bit more warm. Okay, next up are two MAC blushes and then we're done. This is the Perfect Cheek. I have it when it came out in the Marilyn Monroe collection. However, I know that it's come out before. And it is like, I mean, it's really light. It's almost just a skin tone with a hint of pink. It's a very, very light color. I don't want to say it's exactly like MAC Tenderling. I have Tenderling. I've never compared them. But I would definitely say if you didn't get this, look up swatches of Tenderling compared to that because it could be very similar. I would say it's like a lighter version of Exposed, and that's the only one I can really compare it to. And then last but not least, this is one of the mineralized blushes, but it's not a glittery one, and it is in the shade Pressed Amber. This is probably one of my first nudes out of this group. That makes it look like it has so much more going on. It is just so pretty, and it's very silky. It's not one of the chunky mineralized ones at all. I remember when I picked this one up, it was one of those like, it just looks like so nothing and not really impressive, but on the cheeks it's really, really pretty. I'm gonna see how it compares. Probably a little similar to Benefit Dallas if I had to guess, but they're all so similar but so different in their own way. But do you necessarily need all of these? No, but I absolutely love them. I mean, they are just like probably my favorites. I have a few other blushes that I really, really love that are my favorites, you know, like Nars Sin and just a brighter pink and stuff like that. But if I had to pick one genre of blush to have, it would definitely be the nude blushes because they could go with any kind of look. And if I had to pick one blush hands down that I had to have, it would be Nars Madly. I cannot talk about that blush enough. It is just so wonderful. So those are my favorite nude blushes. If you're a nude blush lover, please tell me your suggestions down below. If you have any of these and you like other blushes, tell me those. If you have any kind of suggestion or opinion on any of them, be sure to share it with me. I hope this video was a little helpful. I can't say that there's a complete Nars Madly dupe, but maybe at least you were able to get a little bit of ideas from some of the other ones and kind of how similar they were. And at least if you have some of these, then maybe it would kind of satisfy the lemming of some of those. So anyways, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you later. Bye.